It is Saturday evening, July 12th, 2025, and it was Shabbat, 16th of Tammuz, 5785, Parshat Balak. It is Motzei Shabbat, night, Shabbat is out, but this is the recording for the day of Shabbat and Saturday, July 12th, which is 16 Tammuz. And what I'm holding up right here is called the PL-89 calendar, which started to be developed in the year 2012. And after 13 years of developing it and working, studying it and seeing how it's used, I'm now in the year 2025 beginning to make daily presentations on what it is and how it's to be used, what its purposes are. It is a lunar solar calendar. It's a calendar that combines both the Gregorian calendar, the secular calendar, or the Christian calendar, and which was a reform of the Julian calendar. It was reformed by Pope Gregory the 13th in the year 1582, February 24, 1582. And that's the calendar that makes today July 12th. And it combines the Hebrew calendar, the rabbinic calendar, the calendar that is based on the moon. It has 354 days. It's based on the month being 29.530 something days, and which originally, in the times of the temple, the Beit Din had to announce the new moon, and there had to be witnesses that testify that they saw the new moon, and then at one point, the calendar was established mathematically that we have all the dates set until the end of the age, whatever that means, or until the Messiah comes, is what I was told. This calendar, this Jewish calendar, is what has today being, or what was today, because it goes by the nighttime. Today was the 16th day of Tammuz. Right now at night, actually, it's the 17th, but this calendar, this video is for the 16th of Tammuz. And this study has a lot of different parts to it. And I shared different parts in each video. The part that I was thinking about for this video is the connection between the Gregorian date and the Hebrew date. For example, is there a significance in the fact that the 12th day of Tammuz, the 12th day of July, would coincide with the 16th Tammuz in the year 2025 or in the year 5785? It seeks to answer these questions. And this topic has been of interest to me for since specifically the difference between the days. It's called the plus or minus reality system, which means that, like, for example, this month, Tammuz, the Hebrew month, is it's a -4. Why is it a -4? Because 16 minus 4 is 12. The Hebrew date is 16, and the English date, sometimes I'll just call it English just for force of habit. The English date is, which means Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian date, and which is represented by the sun, and the Hebrew date is represented by the moon, or vice versa. The moon represents them. The moon represents the Jewish calendar, and the sun represents the non-Jewish calendar. So this year, very interestingly, we had a +0. If you remember back in January this year, it was a +0, which means that Tevet 1 was January 1st. And the whole month, there was no difference between whether it was sun or moon. It was both the same number. So, and that's rare to happen even once a year. It doesn't happen every year. It happens every several years. In fact, before this year, the last time that happened, where the Gregorian date is the same as the Hebrew date, was 5 or 6 years before that. It happened in September of 2019, where September 1 was Elul 1 in 2019. So 19 plus 6 is 25, so 6 years before that. So it's rare for that to happen even once a year. But this year, in 2025, it happened twice, and was in very close proximity, which is a very interesting phenomenon. It happened in January, which like January 15th was Tevet 15, and if you look at your calendar and you look at March, you'll see it's exactly parallel to Adar. So Adar 10 was March 10th. So it happened twice, a +0, within very close amount of time. And Nisan April was a +2, which paralleled February, same setup. And now these past 2 months were the same setup as well. June/Sivan was a +4, and July/Tammuz is a +4. So that being said, those are some principles that this calendar is based on. Sun, the moon, the planet Mercury, which I do explain in many of my videos, but I'll skip that for now. I'll just say it's based on planet Mercury. The structure, the amount of boxes, and the amount of time that this calendar measures is based on the orbit of planet Mercury and the Julian calendar. Now in this video, particularly, the Julian calendar, in case you missed it, I think I mentioned it. If I didn't, then I'm mentioning it now. That the Julian calendar was the calendar that was in use. It was basically the world calendar before the reform by Pope Gregory in 1582. And as I understand it, the Julian calendar is 13 days behind the calendar that we have today. So if today is July 12th, so then the Julian calendar would be around June 29th, around there. Yeah. So yeah, around there. So, and the reason why it was made is that from some calculation, which I'm not exactly 100% sure, but the each year lost a few minutes, and it made it uneven when it came to Passover versus Easter for the church, and so they had to make a calendar that corrected that. Because of that correction, the calendar lost a certain amount of days. There's I think 10 or 11 days, or maybe 12 days that are unaccounted for because of that switch. But I won't go into that now because I don't know that well enough to talk about it. But maybe for a future time. But enough to say that Julian calendar plays a part into this calendar as well as this calendar and the Daf Yomi, the daily learning of Talmud, which was started interestingly in the year 1923. It was started on September 11th, interestingly as well. September 11th, 1923. I think it was on Rosh Hashanah, but I don't know if it was the first day or maybe the second day of Rosh Hashanah in 1923, which was the Hebrew year Tafresh Pei Dalet 5684. Just turned 100 years last year. So this year it's 100 years old. Now, the Daf Yomi started in 1923, and the reason why that's interesting is that, again, according to my understanding from the study that I've been doing, that Greece was the last country in the world to adopt the Gregorian calendar that we have today. And there was some fighting in-house in the Greek Orthodox Church. There was some fighting about it and people, and there was a number of monks or whatever that didn't want it. They didn't want the calendar. They fought it tooth and nail. There's a documentary about that, why they didn't want the calendar that we have right now. But what's interesting is that the Daf Yomi started that year. So this is a speculation, it's a theory, and it's something that I can't prove, but I'm trying to find it out, that the Daf Yomi learning program is its own calendar. And if understood correctly, the page number of the Daf Yomi can correct whatever was sought to be whatever. I don't know what the term is. These are like conspiracy theories, so I don't really know. I'm trying to figure it out. But the Daf Yomi can correct whatever was wrong was tried to be done, basically, by understanding the mathematics of it. So it was like a time capsule that whoever could figure it out, well, that's what I'm trying to do. So I would invite anyone who has an interest in this topic to please contact me, and we'll look to collaborate and see if there's some people, some greater mathematical minds than my own. I've developed a great interest in mathematics in recent years, but I would need some much more advanced mathematical minds than mine to help try to uncover this whole thing. But basically, what I'm trying to say today is about the Julian calendar. Now, on this calendar, you see, like I said, it's the Hebrew calendar and the English calendar, or the Gregorian calendar. Okay, July 12th on this calendar is box 12. As you can see, that's in this dispensation. We're in dispensation 2 right now. The first one was dispensation 8, then it was dispensation 4, and now we're in dispensation 2. And that's also for another video. So this is 12, okay? July 12th. Now, the Hebrew date today, Saturday Shabbat, was the 16th of Tammuz, and the 16th of Tammuz on this calendar is 6. Okay? So you have 12 and 6 in question. And the Julian calendar is at 15, because all you have to do is count back 13 days. So like this, 16, and the Julian calendar, the Julian calendar is actually generally related to the Gregorian calendar, which means, like, let's say today is July 12th, right? So then the Julian calendar is like June 29th. Generally speaking, I use that 13-day time frame to describe the Julian calendar with relation only to Gregorian, but not the Hebrew. Like, for example, let's just say it's the 14th of Tammuz. I'm not going to use that Julian system generally. Took a brief break, so I'm coming back to what I was speaking. I don't remember exactly where I left off, but I remember the idea. The idea was that the Julian calendar is based on is relating to the Gregorian calendar. Now, I didn't see any reason for it to be connected to the Hebrew calendar, but now I'm seeing that it is connected to the Hebrew calendar, and here's why. Today is the 16th, was the 16th of Tammuz, and if you count back 13 boxes on this calendar, you're gonna come to box 15. When I said the Julian calendar was at 15, that was only based on the Hebrew. On the English, it's different, but I'm not going to count that right now because it's not relevant. What's relevant is that the third day of Tammuz is the yard site of Lubavitcher Rebbe, and it's connected the same month as the yard site of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. We celebrated both of their yard sites this month, and they're within around that 13-day period of each other. But one day after will be exactly 13 days. So what's interesting is that on this calendar, you go look at 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 15. 15 is the third day of the month. So this relates to 6, but the next box over is 94. It's not 94, it's 14, but 14 is 94 because here's a rule that I didn't explain yet. In every box you see here, in order to get these are all 80 numbers, but it's only 1 through 40, and it repeats itself. But there's 80 altogether, 80 boxes, and it's only 1 through 40. So how do you get 397 on this calendar? How do you get 954 on this calendar? It's all here. How do you get 5,342 on this calendar? Every single number from 1 until infinity is found here. How? It's called the plus 40 rule. The plus 40 rule is that every box here, you add 40, and then 40 is considered that number. Ad infinitum. So, let's just say we're in box 6 right now. 6 is 46. 6 is also 86. By the way, I met someone today that was 86. That's another thing I just came to me right now. So 6 is 86. I met somebody that was 86. He said, I am 86. And I met him in box number 6. That's amazing. That just came to me right now. I'm glad it did. But anyway, this 6, okay, next to it is 14. That means that 14 is 54 because plus 40 is 94. That means that I'm looking at 6 and 94. Today, the two boxes in question are 12 and 6. What's 6 and 12? 6/12 is June 12, like 6/12. June 12th of 1994 was Gimel Tammuz 1994. That's exactly 13 boxes away from each other on this calendar today. I don't know if you are as amazed by this as I am, but how do all these dates, they fit into here perfectly, and it goes day by day. Every day I'm finding things like this. So this is uncovering something really amazing. Is there an underlying pattern of numbers that can be understood? If so, it can be understood to see different things. You can measure things with it, news events, or just things in your life, or anything. If it's based on a pattern of numbers that's quantifiable, that's understandable, then that's what this is trying to uncover. So again, this is amazing. Today is box number 6, right? Minus 13 is going to put you at 15. Box number 15 here. 15 is the third day of any month, of any cardinal month. So it's like July 3rd or it's Tammuz 3. Okay? So 15 and is the third, and then 16. So it's like today is the Yartzeit Lubavitch Rebbe in a way, because Julian speaking from the Hebrew level, Hebrew place, it's the same day. Okay, and what is 6 next to? 6 is next to 14. What is 14? 14 is really 94. What is today on the English calendar? It's 12. So the two boxes of today are 6 and 12. 6 and 12 is June 12th. June 12th was Gimel Tammuz, Lubavitch Rebbe. Today. Today, Julian Hebrew calculation, 6, 12, 94 came out on this box calendar exactly. So this is just another correlation which I can't explain. Again, I invite any mathematician who is also spiritually minded, because not just a mathematician, but a mathematician who believes in Torah and believes in his who believes in God and believes in the Torah, to help explain why these numbers match up so perfectly.